Okay, so I was working on another video and this came across my timeline and feed. So I stopped everything and I had to cover it. Let's get into it. In nearly every single major city in California, including all of the Bay Area and most of Los Angeles and Los Angeles County, it is considered low income to make $100,000. In some parts of California, you need to make $362,000 to be considered middle class. California ranked 47 out of 51 states in affordability and received an F in housing affordability. And I know a lot of Democrats, especially Gavin Newsom, are going to blame Trump and the current presidential administration and tariffs. Well, the joke's on them because this study has been going on for quite some time. And in 2022, $100,000 was considered low income in most of California. 5 years ago, $80,000 a year was considered low income. The median household income currently in the United States is $78,000. Individually, it's $48,000. That was considered low income 5 years ago in California. Let that sink in for a little bit. In San Francisco, a one-bedroom apartment costs $3,000 a month. So if one person makes $104,000 a year, they have to spend at least $36,000 per year on housing, which equals over 30% of their income. Let's break that down a little bit further. $104,000 a year is gross income, meaning before taxes. Making over $100,000 a year puts you in a different tax bracket. And in California, you get taxed 30.5% of your gross income. Therefore, you net $72,000 a year. But let's dive in a little deeper. California has the highest gas prices in the country. We have the highest utilities, water, property tax, income tax, sales tax. So in total, a household in California, on average, pays $9,000 more a year in just gas and utilities versus the rest of the nation. So the cost of gas, utilities, and taxes are a reason why you have to make $100,000 or more to even scrape by in California. The other problem is we don't build enough homes. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Most of them coming from our environmental policies, like the California Environmental Qualities Act, CEQA, holds up a lot of projects and a lot of building and causes a lot of problems throughout the state and makes everything more expensive. For example, every new home needs to have solar panels. That is a regulation. And on average, any home built by a labor union adds roughly $50,000 to the cost of the home. And I have my own issues with California labor unions, but adding that cost wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for all the environmental regulations. And there's other regulations, like using sustainable materials. I honestly don't even know what that means. And also importing building materials from places like Canada or other parts of the country, specifically lumber, which brings me to other added costs of building. Expensive fuel adds to the cost. Expensive energy, water, all adds to the cost of building. And here's the thing, we wouldn't need to build so many homes annually if we weren't A, a sanctuary state, and B, didn't allow millions upon millions of illegal immigrants to come into this country and our state. It goes back to Econ 101. I know Democrats and Gavin Newsom like to pretend they know, but they don't. It's simple supply and demand. If you have a lot of people who want housing and homes and not enough production, that's going to increase the cost of the home or the housing. High demand, low supply. And again, California makes it so hard to build and so expensive to build, and then you add an influx of millions of illegal immigrants and you don't deport them, you let them stay. What do you think that's going to do to the housing costs and rent? They're going to explode to where you have struggling families, citizens who pay their taxes, follow the law, follow the rules, needing to make $300,000 a year to support a family of four. Or they need to make over $100,000 to afford a one-bedroom apartment. It's no wonder we have a bunch of socialists and communists running around. You have the liberal media, Gavin Newsom, California Democrats running around blaming these greedy landlords and these evil corporations and the evil oil companies and the billionaire class, when in reality, that's all propaganda and misinformation, and they're the ones that are creating these problems with their crazy policies and their crazy regulations. And the biggest issue of California, aside from the socialist, communist wokies, is California. Let me explain. California's government and politicians think solving these issues is to add more government, to add more regulations and policies that get in the way, to add more social programs that tax the Californian taxpayer more, that cause more inflation. Because what they're trying to do is solve the issue without actually solving the reason and the root behind the problem. They think the problem is discrimination or vulnerable populations or inadequate accommodations, when in reality, they're the problem. They're the reason why things are expensive. They're the reason why we can't build homes. They are the issue. They are the problem. And you know what the crazy part is? Everyone blames Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is a symptom of the problem. Yes, he was like adding steroids to the problem and made everything worse. However, when he's all gone and no longer governor of California and, God willing, never the president of the United States, the problems in California will still remain and still persist. These things are signed into law. Some of these dating back to 1968 and 1970. The solution is a complete overhaul of our state assembly, state senate, and a massive shift in voter sentiment. But the first step, in my opinion, is bringing all this to light. Like, comment, share this video, and possibly subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.